Rain washed the cracked pavement of Westvil High. As the morning bell echoed through the damp hallways, students hustled past the entrance, huddling in cliques, gossiping, laughing, pretending they weren't scared of the one boy who ruled the school. Troy Henders, 17, broad-shouldered, ruthless and proud of. The title everyone whispered, "The boy with rules, no. One broke his rules, no one looked him in the eye for too long, no. One used the third hallway without his permission, no. One wore black on Fridays because it was his color. It sounded stupid to outsiders, but in Westvil it was law until that morning. A quiet girl stepped through the gate, her hood low, her black backpack soaked from the drizzle. Her name was Aria Vale, 16, transfer student, eyes the color of storm clouds, carrying an energy that made people turn without knowing. Why she didn't talk much, didn't smile either. Some said she came from the mountains, some said she used to live near the woods where wild things still roamed. But what no one knew was that she wasn't truly alone. Her first day started like any other new kid's nightmare. Whispers followed her. The girls from Troy's circle, led by Mia Corrin, smirked as she passed. "She's cute," Mia said with venom. "Too bad she doesn't know how things work here." They giggled. Troy leaned against the lockers, his black leather jacket glistening. "Hey," he called out, his voice a lazy drawl you knew. Aria stopped, adjusted her backpack strap and nodded. "Yeah," she said softly. Aria, he studied her. Something in her eyes made him uneasy, but his ego refused to admit it. "You should know my rules," he said. "Nobody wears black around me on Fridays. That's my thing." Aria blinked, confused. "It's just a hoodie," she said, her tone calm but firm. "Doesn't seem like a big deal." His jaw tightened. "It is." "If I say it is by lunch," the rumor had spread. The new girl broke Troy's rule. The cafeteria buzzed with tension. Aria sat at an empty table, opening her notebook. Pretending to ignore the eyes watching her, a shadow fell across her tray. Troy and his crew surrounded her like vultures. "Didn't you hear me this morning?" he said, grabbing her hood. "I said black is off limits on Fridays." Aria looked up, her calmness irritating him further. "Then close your eyes," she said quietly. A laugh rippled through the crowd, but it wasn't friendly. Troy's hand slammed the table. "You got guts, new girl," he hissed. "Let's see if you still got them after school." The air thickened. Aria exhaled slowly, her fingers tightening around her pen. She felt something deep inside stir, a warmth, a heartbeat not her own, echoing faintly like a distant growl she ignored. She had promised him she wouldn't call unless it was life or death. After classes ended, the courtyard emptied, except for a handful of students who wanted to see what Troy would do. The sky dimmed to a dark grey. Aria walked slowly toward the gate, hoping to avoid the confrontation, but voices followed her. "Hey!" Rule breaker. Troy's shout echoed. She stopped. The sound of sneakers scuffing the wet ground filled the air. She turned around. Eyes steady. Troy stood a few feet away with 4 others. One carried a bat, another recorded with his phone. "You think you can walk in and talk back to me?" Troy sneered. "You think rules don't apply to you?" Aria didn't reply. Her silence made them angrier. "Say something," he yelled. Stepping closer, she whispered, "I don't follow cruelty." That was it. He snapped. His hand shot out, grabbing her collar, shoving her back against the fence. The other boys laughed. Rain began to fall harder, droplets streaking her face. She didn't cry, she didn't scream. She only looked up at him, unblinking, as thunder rumbled overhead. Then something shifted in the air. The wind stilled. The laughter died. From the shadow of the nearby trees came a low, rumbling growl, a sound that didn't belong in any schoolyard. One of the boys froze. Troy," he whispered. "What was that?" Troy frowned, tightening his grip on her. "Probably a dog," he said, but deep down, even he didn't believe it. The growl came again, closer, louder, deep enough to rattle their chests. From the darkness beneath the oaks, 2 glowing amber eyes appeared. Then a shape moved. Muscular, silent, deadly gasps spread through the small crowd. Someone dropped their phone. A black panther stepped into the light. Its fur glistened like liquid night, raindrops sliding down its sleek body. Its gaze locked on Troy. Aria's breath caught, but she didn't flinch. "No," she whispered, almost to herself. "Not Yet but the creature's tail flicked once, and its growl deepened into a warning. The bullies stumbled back. "What the hell is that thing?" one shouted. "It's a panther, that's impossible," another screamed. Troy tried to hide his fear with anger. "It's a trick, it's got to be some—" His words died when the panther's roar thundered through the courtyard, echoing off the walls. Students screamed, running for cover. The panther moved forward, slow, deliberate. It didn't touch anyone. It didn't need to. Its presence alone was enough. The only one it didn't threaten was Arya. She stood perfectly still, eyes locked with the creature's. For a split second, time froze. Troy's mind tried to process what he was seeing. The girl's hair was drenched, her expression calm, her eyes glowing faintly. "Like the beasts, Arya," he whispered, trembling. "What are you?" She finally spoke, her voice low but carrying through the storm. "Someone you should never have cornered." The panther circled her once before sitting at her side, its body brushing against her leg protectively. Every student who had stayed to watch now stared in disbelief. The toughest bullies of Westvil stood frozen by one girl and a creature that shouldn't exist. Troy dropped his bat. The sound of metal on concrete was swallowed by the rain. He took one step back. The panther growled again, bearing sharp white fangs that glimmered. Under the streetlights he turned and ran, his friends scrambling after him, slipping in puddles, shouting in panic. Arya didn't move. She reached out slowly, resting her hand on the panther's head. Its eyes softened. The connection between them was ancient, invisible, bound by something deeper than friendship. It was the promise she made years ago, to never let cruelty go unpunished. As the rain eased, she whispered,